The Glock 42, probably to be considered one of the pinnacles of concealed carry pistols. Being ultra compact, you can carry this thing on you and no one would even know the wiser. In different ways and in different methods. Like these. What? It gets cold in your tactical shorts. But let's face it, in Airsoft, what are the chances of you having to conceal carry? I think the idea is kinda silly. But do these ultra compact pistols have a place? And what are the trade-offs of having a small gun like this? Well, I guess we're gonna find out. So I think we've established the Glock 42 is pretty compact and very concealable. Not to mention, finally I'm reviewing a gun on RedWolf TV smaller than my own. Okay, no more puns. I swear that's the only time I'll use that pun. To give you guys an idea just how small this gun is, if I remove the magazine, it is tiny. It is about the size of my palm. Look at that. It's pretty crazy. Now the Glock 42 from Umarex is by no means the first compact pistol of its kind. Now we've seen other ones before, much like the G series Model 26 from Tokyo Marui, or other ones such as the V10 or the DT45, which are more 1911 style compact pistols. Now, when you look at small guns like this, there are usually trade-offs when you shrink the size, and we're going to find out if those trade-offs make this gun less shootable or if it affects it in a detrimental kind of way. But right now, let's just kind of look at an overview of this pistol. The first thing you're going to notice is it does feature a full metal slide, so kudos to Umarex for making sure they covered that. It has a U-notch rear sight and a dot front sight, and the grips are lightly textured. One of the standout features you're going to find is the extended magazine base. Now, they had to do this simply because the magazine was so small and they needed a little bit of extra space for the gas reservoir, and I would surmise that is probably why they have this magazine base. I don't know if some of you have noticed this, but a lot of Umarex pistols have removed their gas valve from the bottom and placed it up top. Now, I really enjoy this kind of design because it adds extra realism to the pistol. I mean, face it, more and more movie studios and TV studios are using airsoft guns as props, and big productions have actually shown the gas valve when you lift it up. Movies like The Matrix Reloaded, you can see the gas valve on one of their M9s on the bottom. I mean, come on, couple $100 million movie, they couldn't even cover it up. So, you know what? Now it can really be used as a prop. Now there's some light checkering on the frame, very reminiscent of the Gen 4, Gen 5 style Glocks. If you pull the slide back, you also see it has a similar recoil spring as seen on the Glock Gen 4. Now, when I remove the slide to show you how to adjust the hop up, I'll show you a little bit more in detail that recoil spring right there. Other than that, it's of course covered with all the corresponding markings, as you can see. It's actually a pretty nice looking pistol, not gonna lie. Now you adjust the hop up by removing the slide. You use this latch here, which also corresponds with this side. You pull this down. And it comes out just like that. Now you adjust the hop up here. And look at that teeny tiny little recoil spring. So cute! Earlier I talked about trading off. And for me to give you guys an idea of exactly what you're trading off, I brought out the Glock 17 and the Glock 19 to give you guys a comparison as to when you go down in size, what you're potentially losing on the way. First off, you have the Glock 17. Now this is a Gen 3 model, full-size pistol. Then you have the Glock 19, shrunk down a little bit, but still fairly decent sized. Then going down from the Glock 19 is the 42. Just look at the size differences we have on this table. Now let me be Captain Obvious here and point out the first trade-off you're going to see when you come from the 17 and go all the way down to the 42. Now the first thing you're going to notice is because of the shortened slide, your side picture is going to be a little different. When you pick up the 17, you aim, you very naturally align that front and rear sight. When you pick up this guy, it takes me a while to pick it up simply because the slide is so short. It takes me a little while. Okay, I got it. Who would have thought? Now the second trade-off is going to be, you see the difference in the thickness here? Now in the real steel world, the Glock 19 is a double stack 9mm, and the Glock 42 is a single stack gun, as you can see. So of course, yes, you're going to have, well, capacity differences. But we're not here talking simply about the capacity because, well, I don't want to be Captain Obvious twice. But what I am going to talk about is, in the airsoft version, this means the Glock 19 and the 17, mind you, because it has, bigger magazine, it can carry more gas compared to the Glock 42 and its single stack small magazine. So that's another trade-off you're going to have to look at as well. So are there some other trade-offs? Yes. Like, well, there's no accessory rail, so no lights and lasers for this guy. The other thing is, finding a holster may prove to be a slight problem. But all of these seem to be external factors. When we shoot this thing, I think that's when, the truth is in the pudding. How is this thing going to fare at the end of the day as a shooter? So, well, let's find out. I'm using 0.2 gram BBs and green gas. Now here we are at the warehouse and it's time to shoot the Glock 42, and I feel like shooting it will definitively answer, will all of those things that we talked about really serve as a detriment, as a negative trade-off, about shrinking the size and, well, shooting a baby gun. Let's go. What I can tell you is the felt recoil of this thing is very impressive. For such a small gun like this, I remember shooting the old G Series Model 26 from Tokyo Marui and some other manufacturers, and it didn't recoil as snappily as this guy. Sights, a little harder to read because of the shorter slide, but overall, very satisfying to shoot. I am very pleasantly surprised. Now, it didn't expend all the BBs in this magazine. That's probably due to its smaller size, which means it has a smaller gas reservoir. Now, this doesn't surprise me because at the end of the day, I did overfill it a little bit and there's only about 2 rounds left. Let me gas her up again and see if I can unload at a close range just to see how fast I can shoot this thing. This time I expended all the rounds, but the slide didn't lock back. Now that's probably because my hands got in the way of the slide release, and that's the reason why. So it's probably my fault and no fault of the gun. What I did also notice is the trigger. Now on all the other Glocks that Umarex is coming out with, their triggers have been very good. I would say almost pretty exceptional for airsoft triggers. This one, on the other hand, I feel like the take-up was a little long, and the break was a little mushy. The reset was a little soft. But then again, I can't really fault it because it is so small. The parts used is probably really tiny as well. So again, are there some trade-offs? Yes. But do I feel like it's a fun shooting gun and could it shoot quite well? I think for its size and everything factored in, it's an exceptional shooter. Now back to the studio. Glocks. Glocks everywhere. You remember the time when there was no such thing as an airsoft Glock? I remember. If you guys want to watch some of our old Glock reviews, why don't you click on the card above. We're going to put a few of them in there for you guys to enjoy. Now, back to this gun. Yeah, this one. Some pros and some cons. I always like to talk about the good things first. Number one, this gun, I'm not going to lie. For this little beast, it's fun to shoot. It's snappy. It fits in your hand nicely for how small it is, and it is not bad. I'm not gonna lie, don't let its small size deceive you. Now, while there are some positives, throughout this whole video we were talking about trade-offs, and there are more than just a few. When you are engineering to shrink down in size, like we mentioned earlier, you're gonna have to trade off a few things. But do those trade-offs outweigh some of the positives? Well, you know, at the end of the day, if you need a backup to a backup, then, hey, you know what? This gun may be for you. In the real steel world, this gun is designed to be probably the best concealed carry pistol you can get your hands on. Also, with its single stack frame, it's great for people with slender hands, or ladies, or people that just need something that is like in deep concealment, right? But in airsoft, who needs to conceal? You may need it once in a while for one of those really kind of cosplaying, role-playing, milsim mops. But for the most part, concealment in airsoft is not a thing. So who is this gun really for? Like aforementioned, who is this gun for? I mean, other than, like we talked about, for the ladies, that some of you ladies do have nice, slender, and smaller hands. I mean, of course, not all ladies have petite hands. I mean, there are volleyball players out there with hands bigger than mine. But I'm just saying. We're also probably forgetting about a big group out there that this gun could potentially be for, and that is younger players. Kids maybe between the ages of 8 to 10 or even younger. The kids that maybe want to transition and try something other than just Nerf. And Nerf guns, they usually have smaller grips. And under some supervision, this gun could be a great bridge for them to try and experience airsoft for the first time. We wouldn't know, right? And let us not forget, those of you out there that want to catch them all, to fulfill your inner Thanos and your inner Ash Ketchum, you got to have all the Glocks. If you got to have all the Glocks, well, this is a great collector's item. So at the end of the day, you got to ask yourself the question, does size really matter? I guess in this situation, that's what she said. Size probably does matter, especially when it comes to airsoft pistols. Bigger is probably better, in terms of performance at least. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts. Would you carry something like this? Or maybe I need some education. Maybe there is this great application for airsoft guns out there to be used as concealed carry, situations. Maybe I'm the one that's ignorant. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments section below. And I'll probably catch you guys there. So hopefully I'm looking for an interesting discussion. So if you want cool products like this and many more, don't forget to check out our online store at www.redwolfairsoft.com. My name is Mark, aka Blue Steel. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you thought it was cool, make sure you share it with your friends. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you'll be notified every time we upload a new video. I'm going to take this and I'm going to go do something with it. Catch you guys later. And look at that teeny tiny little recoil spring. So cute. That's what she said.